Okay, so, we've been looking at these travel vlogs you sent over,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I gotta say, Kagoshima looks pretty amazing.
It really does, like just visually from the videos.
Yeah, and the food looks incredible, too.
Oh, definitely. Lots to unpack there for sure.
So for everyone listening, think of this deep dive as like a curated guide to Kagoshima.
Exactly. We're going through these vlogs, pulling out those essential nuggets, you know.
The can't-miss spots,
Hmm.
the must-try foods, and, those unique things that you can only find in Kagoshima.
Right. And we want to make sure you come away feeling like you really understand what makes this region special.
Without totally overwhelming you with information.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like a cheat sheet to being in the know.
So the main vlogs we're focusing on today are this fantastic multi-day trip from Japan TV
Mm-hmm.
and a really insightful 3-day, 2-night itinerary from I'm Fang.
Yes, both packed with great insights.
All right, so right off the bat, what struck me was how easy it seems to get to Kagoshima.
Yeah, I mean, both vloggers made it seem so accessible.
Right, like Japan TV started their journey in Hakata,
Okay.
and they hopped on the Shinkansen, the bullet train,
Oh, nice.
straight to Kagoshima Central Station.
So convenient.
And get this, it was only like an hour and a half,
Wow, that's fast.
which is seriously impressive for that distance.
Yeah, especially if you're using a JR pass, makes it super cost effective.
Exactly. A JR pass is definitely something to consider if you're exploring more of Japan.
For sure.
And then I'm Fang came from even further afield.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they actually flew directly from Taiwan to Kagoshima Airport.
Interesting. So it's well connected internationally, too.
Yeah, exactly, which makes it, even more appealing for travelers from all over.
Absolutely broadens the possibilities.
So once you're there, getting around locally seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, there are some good options depending on what you want to see.
Within Kagoshima City itself, both vloggers really recommended the Kagoshima City View bus.
Oh, yeah, that seems to be the go-to.
It's got day passes and 2-day passes, giving you unlimited rides to pretty much all the main sites within the city.
So it's a good value if you're sticking to the urban areas.
Yeah, definitely a smart way to go.
Now, for Sakurajima, the volcano, things change a bit.
Right, transportation-wise.
Yeah, there's a dedicated Sakurajima Island View bus.
Okay.
But both vloggers mention that its route's a bit limited.
So, not ideal if you want to explore the whole island.
Right, regular buses do go to the eastern parts of Sakurajima, but they don't run as often.
Got it.
So the consensus seems to be if you really want to see all of Sakurajima, renting a car is the way to go.
Gives you that freedom to roam around at your own pace.
Exactly.
And of course, you can't talk about Sakurajima without mentioning the ferry.
Ah, yes, the iconic ferry crossing.
Both vlogs show just how quick and easy it is to get across the bay.
How long does it take?
Like 15 to 20 minutes tops.
That's nothing.
So even if you're short on time, it's a totally doable side trip from Kagoshima City.
Makes sense.
Okay, so we've covered the logistics of getting there and getting around.
Right now, let's dive into the attractions.
What makes Kagoshima a place you actually want to visit?
Exactly. And I think a good place to start is somewhere with a bit of spiritual significance.
Definitely. Kirishima Jingu Shrine has got to be on the list.
Oh, yeah. Japan NTV really highlighted that one.
They weren't kidding about it being impressive.
Yeah, they called it the largest shrine in southern Kyushu and a major power spot.
For anyone who doesn't know, power spot basically means a place with strong spiritual energy.
Right, and Kirishima Jingu is dedicated to Ninigi no Mikoto.
Who they explained is considered one of the founding deities of Japan.
Wow, so it's a place with really deep roots.
Absolutely steeped in history and spirituality.
And the setting itself sounds incredible, like nestled in a dense forest.
Yeah, that definitely adds to that sense of serenity and sacredness.
And the history is pretty substantial, too.
It's 300 years old.
Wow.
It's designated as an important cultural property.
Okay.
And just a couple of years ago, in 2022, the main hall, offering hall, and worship hall were recognized as national treasures.
That's huge. I mean, that really emphasizes its cultural significance.
And here's where things get even more interesting for me.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
There's this fascinating historical connection to Sakamoto Ryoma.
Who's that?
He was like a pivotal figure in Japanese history.
Okay.
And he's said to have visited Kirishima Jingu during what's believed to be his first honeymoon.
Wow, so you're walking in the footsteps of history.
I know, it's amazing to think about him being there centuries ago.
It's those kinds of connections that make a place come alive.
Totally. And then there was that unexpected moment with the mooing cow.
Oh, yeah, during the Gotenu festival, right?
You remember that?
How could I forget?
This figure, dressed in black with a cow mask, shouting, "Moo!"
So bizarre.
It's part of a festival held on February 4th of the lunar calendar
Okay.
to pray for a bountiful harvest.
Interesting. So it's not all seriousness and serenity at the shrine.
Yeah, it's a living place with these unique traditions and customs.
Definitely add some color to the experience.
For sure. And beyond the main buildings, Kirishima Jingu is also associated with the Seven Mysteries of Kirishima.
Oh, wow. Adding a layer of folklore.
I know, right?
So what are the mysteries?
Well, they specifically mention the Turtle Rock, which looks exactly like a turtle, apparently,
Okay.
and the Wind Cave along the old approach to the shrine.
What's special about the Wind Cave?
You can actually feel a distinct breeze coming from it.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Makes you wonder about the other five mysteries.
Yeah. Definitely piques your curiosity.
So we've talked about the spiritual side of things. Now let's move on to something a little more stately.
Okay, where are we going?
Sengun and Garden.
Ah, yes. Another spot that both vloggers seem to really love.
EVC, Japan TV made it very clear that this is a must-see in Kagoshima City.
So what's the story behind it?
It started as the villa of the Kagoshima clan lord,
Okay.
and the garden was added later.
Got it.
But the real highlight is the concept of borrowed scenery.
I'm not familiar with that.
It's this brilliant idea
Hmm.
in Japanese garden design where they incorporate the surrounding landscape
Oh, interesting.
to create a sense of depth and grandeur.
So they're not just creating a garden in isolation.
Exactly. They're using what's already there to enhance it.
I like that.
And Senganen does this masterfully.
How so?
They use Sakurajima as the backdrop, like a majestic mountain.
Oh, wow.
And Kagoshima Bay becomes this huge, serene pond.
That's incredible.
So the garden feels way bigger and more connected to nature.
I can see why that would be so appealing.
And it's not just a garden. There are restaurants, tea houses, shops, all sorts of things.
Really? So it's like a whole complex.
Yeah, and both vloggers make sure to stop at the two-stick mochi shop.
Two-stick mochi. Tell me more.
It's a local specialty called ryobochi.
Okay.
And the two sticks are supposed to resemble samurai swords.
Oh, interesting. Like a nod to the Kagoshima clan warriors.
Exactly.
What kind of flavors did they try?
Well, Japan TV had the sweet soy sauce
Classic.
and the kanako, which is made from roasted soybean flour.
So it's got that nutty flavor.
Yeah, and they both said it was delicious, especially with a cup of green tea.
That sounds like the perfect little snack.
Oh, and don't forget to look for the cat shrine on the ground.
The cat shrine.
Yeah, apparently it's dedicated to feline deities.
Okay, that's unique.
And, Senganen is a World Heritage Site.
Wow, so it's officially recognized for its cultural importance.
It was designated back in 2015,
Pretty prestigious.
and it even appeared in a popular Japanese drama called Segadan.
Oh, cool. So it's well known in Japanese culture.
Definitely.
What else is there to see in Senganen?
Well, Fang mentioned that it's the best spot for views of Sakurajima, especially during cherry blossom season.
Oh, wow. I bet that's breathtaking.
I can only imagine.
So it's a great spot for photography, too.
Absolutely.
Did they explore any other buildings within the complex?
Yeah, they both checked out the Iso residence,
Okay.
which was the living quarters of the Shimadzu clan.
Wow. So you could actually see how they lived.
Yeah, and they also went to the Shoko Shuseiken Museum.
What kind of museum is that?
It showcases the history and culture of the Satsuma domain,
Oh.
although one of the vloggers mentioned it was being renovated when they visited.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, always worth checking for closures before you go.
Makes sense.
And there's also the Foreign Engineers Residence.
What's that all about?
It's recognized as Japan's oldest Western-style spinning mill.
Huh, interesting.
It was built by the Shimadzu family during the early industrialization period.
Wow. So it's a glimpse into a different side of Kagoshima's history.
Exactly.
Okay, so we can't talk about Kagoshima without talking about the big one.
You mean SakurajimaVolcano?
The one and only.
The iconic symbol of Kagoshima.
It's such a presence in all the vlogs.
It really is hard to miss.
So what did they get up to on Sakurajima?
Well, Fang started with a visit to the Sakurajima Visitor Center.
Good idea.
It's the perfect place to learn about the volcano's history and geology.
Right, and get some context before exploring.
They also mentioned that they have real-time monitoring data.
Oh, wow, so you can see how active it is.
Exactly.
And then they headed up to the Unohira Observatory.
Yeah, that's the highest point you can access as a tourist.
How high up is it?
373 meters.
That's gotta be some view.
Oh, I'm sure it is, with
Yeah.
panoramic views of the caldera and Kagoshima Bay.
You really get a sense of the scale of the volcano from up there.
Definitely.
What else did they see?
Well, there's the Nagith foot bath.
A foot bath?
Yeah, it's a public foot bath that's naturally heated by geothermal activity.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
And it's built with volcanic rock.
So you're literally soaking in the volcanic landscape.
Exactly.
And I remember Fang also went to the Shouting at the Volcano Monument.
Oh, yeah, at Akamuzu Observatory Plaza.
Right. What's the story behind that?
It commemorates a massive rock concert that was held on the island back in 2004.
A rock concert on Sakurajima.
Yeah, apparently it drew like 75,000 people.
That's insane for an island with only a few thousand residents.
I know, right? Talk about a unique event.
And the monument itself is made from solidified lava.
A fitting tribute to the volcano.
For sure.
And then there's that really poignant image of the Kurakami buried shrine gate.
Oh, yeah. That's powerful.
It's this visual reminder of the volcano's raw power.
Yeah, only the top of the Torii Gate is visible above the ash.
It really shows the impact of volcanic activity.
And the resilience of the community.
Absolutely.
Okay, so all this exploring is making me hungry.
Me too.
Let's talk food.
Kagoshima has a serious foodie scene.
It seems like it.
And one spot that stood out was the Kagoshima Furusato Yataimura.
Okay, break that down for me.
So, Japan TV explained that it's like a collection of yatai.
What are those?
Those small mobile food stalls you see in Japan.
Oh, yeah.
They offer all sorts of local dishes.
So it's like a concentrated taste of Kagoshima cuisine.
Exactly. And it's got a bit of an interesting history.
Okay, I'm listening.
It originally opened near Kagoshima Central Station in 2012, but sadly it closed in 2020.
Oh, no.
But the good news is it reopened in 2022 in 2 new locations.
So it's
Yeah, one near the station and one at the Lika complex.
That's great.
And they specifically visited a place called Karamochi Tagiruba at the Lika location.
Okay, tell me what's so special about this place.
They're known for their buri, which is Japanese amberjack.
Okay.
But here's the kicker. It's fed with sonogi tea from Nagasaki.
Tea-fed fish, that's
Now,
different.
I know, right? It's a really unique approach.
So how does it taste?
They said the sashimi was lighter than usual
Interesting.
and paired perfectly with the sweet Kyushu soy sauce.
Nice.
And they were really impressed with the restaurant's commitment to local ingredients.
Like what?
They used potatoes from Nagashima in a lot of their dishes.
So you're getting a real taste of the region?
Exactly.
Any standout dishes?
Oh, yeah. The chiburi daikon sounded incredible.
What's in that?
It's the head of that tea-fed buri served with Sakurajima radish.
Wow, that's a combo.
They said to savor them together, like let the flavors mingle.
I can imagine that being delicious.
And they also raved about the grilled chicken dish called ichiyaboshi.
What's special about that?
It involves a semi-drying process that really intensifies the chicken's flavor.
Sounds intriguing.
And then, for a taste of history, both vlogs featured the Izumi Fumoto samurai residences.
Oh, yes, stepping back in time.
Japan TV actually stayed overnight at one of them.
Cool, which one?
It's called Rita Izumi Fumoto.
Okay.
And they explained that Fumoto basically means outer castle samurai residences.
Right, from the Edo period.
Exactly. And Izumi Fumoto is super well preserved.
Like a living museum.
It's actually designated as a National Important Preservation District for groups of traditional buildings.
So it's a pretty big deal historically.
Yeah, and they said that Izumi was the largest samurai residential community in the former Satsuma domain.
Wow, that's fascinating.
So you're really getting a sense of the samurai era there.
What was the accommodation like?
They gave a great tour of their room.
Okay, I'm all ears.
They had these preserved features like built-in drawers and cabinets.
Wow, so it's still very authentic.
Yeah. And the ceilings were original. And they even had what looks like an old spear.
That's amazing.
The red room sounded particularly special.
What's the red room?
It was traditionally used for high-ranking guests.
Okay.
And it still has the original red walls and this traditional low seating for enjoying the garden views.
And I'm serene.
And then they had these antique chests, including one that was a bridal trousseau chest.
Wow, that's a piece of history.
And the bathroom was this beautiful mix of old and new.
How so?
It had all the modern amenities,
Okay.
but it was made with fragrant Hinoki cypress wood.
Oh, nice. That adds a special touch.
And they also had a display of local Izumi crafts.
Cool.
And they got this unique sake cup as a gift.
What was unique about it?
It was shaped like a spinning top.
A spinning top.
Yeah, it's a traditional Satsuma drinking vessel designed to be emptied quickly once it's filled.
Oh, that's clever.
And they even got a voucher for nearby shops and cafes.
Nice, a little bonus.
And they also showed another room style that had the original kitchen space with a preserved well and a wash basin with old tiles.
Wow, so you can really imagine what life was like back then.
Totally. And they even pointed out the beams where the Aurori would have hung.
What's an Aurori?
It's a traditional sunken hearth.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, it's a really immersive experience.
Sounds like it.
Okay, let's talk about some of the specific food highlights.
Yes, please. I'm getting hungry just listening to all this.
So we have to start with Kagoshima black pork, or kurobuta as it's known.
It's a classic.
A must-try if you're in the region.
Absolutely.
Japan TV. Try the braised black pork at a restaurant called Satsumaji.
Okay.
It's called Kurobuta no Kakuni.
How was it?
They loved it.
What did they say?
They were impressed with the portion size, first of all.
Generous.
Very generous.
Okay.
And then the tenderness of the pork was exceptional.
That's what you wanted.
Exactly. And they said it was surprisingly light.
Not too fatty.
Yeah, they attributed that to the good lean-to-fat ratio of kurobuta.
Makes sense.
And the black pork shabu-shabu was a winner, too.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
Despite the marbling, it wasn't greasy at all.
Interesting.
And the local soy sauce in the broth gave it a slight sweetness.
Sounds perfect with a bowl of rice.
Oh, definitely.
What about Kagoshima black beef?
We can't forget about that.
The Kuroge Wagyu.
Another premium product from the region.
So what did they have?
They had a grilled black beef steak at Satsumaji.
Nice and simple.
Yeah, just seasoned with black pepper.
Perfect.
And they said it had a nice firm texture.
Sounds delicious.
And get this, Satsumaji sources its beef from their own farm.
Wow, that's impressive.
They raise their own Kagoshima black cattle.
Talk about fresh and local.
All right.
So Satsumaji seems like a good place to experience the local cuisine.
Oh, definitely. They have a kaiman set meal.
What's in that?
It's got a bit of everything. Chicken braised, black, pork satsuma age, those little kibanago herring,
Okay.
and a bowl of satsumajiru, which is the local miso soup.
So it's a real culinary tour of Kagoshima.
Yeah.
And Fang went to an eel restaurant called Unagi no Tsuyoshi.
Oh, yeah, they really recommended that one.
What did they say?
The grilled eel was amazing.
How so?
It had this subtle charcoal aroma, a super tender texture, and a slightly sweet sauce.
Sounds perfect.
And they even raved about the rice, the miso soup, and the pickled radish.
So it's the whole package.
Yeah, and they pointed out the difference between the unagi don and the unagi teishoku.
Okay, what's the difference?
Unagi don is eel over rice,
Got it.
and unagi teishoku is the set meal with the eel served separately.
Okay, good to know.
And for something sweet,
Yeah.
at Japan TV, try the kagotoba
Where was that?
at Satsuma Steamhouse.
What's a kagotoba?
It's a baked pastry, kind of like a donut,
Okay.
but the texture's more like a cake,
Interesting.
and it's not too sweet.
Sounds good.
And Fang got the nanjikuda from Satsuma Steamhouse.
That's a mouthful.
What is it?
I know, right? What is it?
It's a chewy mochi filled with red bean paste and whole beans.
So it's got that classic Japanese flavor.
Yeah, and they said it was delicious with green tea.
Makes sense.
They also had a fun little feed experience on the Sakurajima ferry.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
They had a quick meal of udon noodles.
On the ferry.
Yeah, apparently it was nothing fancy, but the novelty of eating on the ferry made it memorable.
I can imagine.
And then there's the tororo.
What's tororo?
It's grated yam.
Okay.
They both had it at a grilled meat restaurant.
Separately.
Yeah, but they both mentioned how comfortable the single diner setups were.
Interesting. So it's a good spot for solo diners.
Yeah, and they both had delicious set meals. One had beef and the other had pork.
Nice.
And they both appreciated the table design, which was made to fit all the trays.
Oh, that's thoughtful.
And then Fang tried the tomato ramen at a place called Ingachio.
Tomato ramen, that's new.
I know, right?
How was it?
They said the broth was really rich, almost like a soup pasta.
Huh. Interesting.
And you can add cheese and rice to the set meal.
So it's a fusion dish?
Kinda, yeah.
What about breakfast?
Oh, the breakfast at Raida Izumi Fumoto sounded incredible.
Tell me about it.
They had this elegant spread served in their room.
Wow, fancy.
Yeah, it was dashi chizuke with sea bream sashimi
Okay.
and all these little condiments, tamagoyaki local fish cake, pickles salad,
Wow, a feast.
and they had plenty of rice and broth for refills.
So you wouldn't leave hungry?
Definitely not.
Okay, so beyond the food and the attractions, Kagoshima also seems to offer some really unique experiences.
Oh, for sure, like the Orange Shakudo Scenic Railway.
Yeah, Japan TV was really excited about that one.
They took the sunset dinner plan.
That's romantic.
It travels along the coast from Shinyatsushiro in Kumamoto down to Sendai in Kagoshima.
So you're seeing a lot of the countryside.
Yeah, and the name Orange Shakudo comes from the orange groves along the route
Oh, that's cool.
and the amazing sunsets over the Yatsushiro Sea.
So it's aptly named.
And the whole thing was created to revitalize tourism in the area
Oh, that's nice.
because railway usage has been declining.
So it's a way to bring people back. Smart.
They have different meal options throughout the day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Okay.
But the sunset dinner plan is the most popular.
I bet.
It's a bit pricey, though.
How much?
Around 10,000 yen for adults.
That's a splurge.
Yeah, but it includes the train ticket, which is about 2,880 yen.
So it's not just the meal.
Right, you're paying for the whole experience.
What kind of drinks did they have?
They had complimentary drinks like coffee, tea, roasted tea, orange juice, and even seasonal varieties like Shiranui citrus juice.
Oh, wow. That's a nice touch.
And the dinner course was quite elaborate.
What did they have?
They started with an appetizer of red pepper mousse, Kagoshima chicken, and a Russian-inspired dish with rice, egg, and salmon.
Wow, that's quite the mix.
I know, right?
What about the main course?
It was a cabbage roll filled with Kagoshima black beef and black pork.
Oh, wow. That sounds delicious.
And for dessert, they had a nut cake that reminded them of Ferrero Rocher,
Yeah.
and then petit fours to finish.
So it's like a fine dining experience on a train.
Exactly.
That's pretty unique.
And they had these little unexpected moments along the way.
Like what?
They stopped briefly at Satsuma Takeshiro Station for a view of the sea,
Nice.
and they got to ring the releasing bell.
What's that?
I'm not exactly sure, but it sounds symbolic.
Yeah, those little touches really add to the journey.
And even the train ticket itself is like a souvenir.
Really?
Yeah, it's designed to match the train car, and it has the date and seat number printed on it.
That's cool. I'd definitely keep that.
And they even passed through some scenery that was featured in the movie Kazoku no Iro.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
It's also known as Colors of Family.
Interesting.
And at the Kun station, they got to exchange a voucher for local products.
Like what?
They got some seaweed wakame.
Nice. Little takeaway gift.
And a Kun station itself has a really unique design by Eiji Mituka.
He's a famous architect, right?
Yeah, he's known for his innovative train station designs.
Cool.
And even the conductor added to the atmosphere.
Oh, so.
They rang a little bell to signal departure.
Oh, that's a nice touch.
Yeah, it added to that nostalgic travel vibe.
I love those little details.
Me too. And lastly, Japan TV also emphasized the simple joy of exploring the local streets and shops.
Yeah, sometimes those unplanned moments are the best.
Totally like wandering around near the Izumi Fumoto samurai residences.
It's all about soaking up the atmosphere.
Absolutely.
So to wrap things up, we've really gotten a good overview of Kagoshima thanks to these vlogs.
Yeah, we've gone from the spiritual depths of Kirishima Jingu to the scenic beauty of Senganen,
We've witnessed the power of Sakurajima Volcano.
and tasted our way through the diverse culinary scene.
From black pork, shabu-shabu to tea-fed berry.
We even stepped back in time at a samurai residence.
And enjoyed a scenic train journey.
It's been quite the virtual adventure.
It has, and what's interesting is how these two separate vlogs, each with their own itinerary, really highlighted so many of the key experiences that make Kagoshima special.
Totally. It gives you a well-rounded understanding of the region.
A great starting point for planning your own trip.
Exactly. So, but for you, our listener, think about what aspects of Kagoshima resonated most with you.
Was it the spirituality of Kirishima, the historical elegance of Senganen,
The dramatic volcanic landscapes?
the incredible food,
Or maybe those immersive cultural experiences?
like staying in a samurai residence or riding the orange shakudo?
Because Kagoshima really does offer something for everyone.
It does, and it makes you wonder what other hidden gems are waiting to be discovered in southern Kyushu.
Right, like these vlogs have only scratched the surface.
Definitely lots more to explore.
So we hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity.
And maybe even inspired you to plan your own Kagoshima adventure.
And a huge thank you to you for sharing these amazing travel vlogs with us.
Yeah, it's been a real treat to experience Kagoshima through your eyes.
Until next time, happy travels, everyone.